Completing the HSC is one of the many milestones one experiences during the school life. The following podcast is going to discuss on the way in which the dystopian novel 1984, written by George Orwell, alongside its related text Once by Morris Glitzman, represents key ideas in the common module, texts and human experiences specifically. I am Mahin Shahid, your speaker for today. The Year 12 syllabus is constructed of 4 common modules which interrelate to create the basis of the course that need to be followed by Year 12 students. The first module is Text and Human Experiences, which is the focus point for today. The second is Textual Conversations, followed by the third being Critical Study of Literature, and lastly the fourth module, which is the Craft of Writing. Now diving deeper, each individual module consists of a rubric statement which extensively outlines what the module is about. The rubric statement of Module 1, Texts and Human Experiences, discusses about the personal experiences individuals encounter, which molds the way they are today, as well as the experiences individuals share amongst each other collectively. These experiences are meant to be reflected through a variety of texts portrayed through human interactions or emotions and should relate real-life experiences with those from any text. The execution of different literary languages or techniques allow for a deepened understanding of the depiction of individual and shared human experiences, which activates ideas and concepts to be viewed from a different perspective. One of George Orwell's most recognized novels is 1984. It depicts a story about a middle-aged man named Winston who lost his individuality due to the operations of the entity known as Big Brother. In a closely monitored society, he conspires with a young woman known as Julia and the Brotherhood in order to create a sense of individuality and identity for future generations. The text related to 1984 is derived by a popular novel series composed by Morris Glitzman, known as Once. The novel illustrates a narrative about a little Jewish boy named Felix who struggles against the German Nazis on a quest to search for his bookkeeper parents after he witnesses the Nazis burning the books from a Catholic orphanage he stayed in. Composers write in such ways that allow readers to deconstruct texts to explore and understand the hidden meanings of words or phrases in order to help them comprehend the text and perceive it as their own, giving them the opportunity to challenge new ideas while also relating to their own individual experience. George Orwell's famous novel 1984 informs the reader of the issues of a tyrannical futuristic society while illustrating a rise of authoritarian leaders and the manifestation of physical control as well as the suppression of information. Orwell portrays the controversial notion of the abuse of power and control through the persona of Winston. Nothing was your own except the few cubic centimetres inside your skull, as it represents the mindful deception of the party, depicting them to be suppressing the freedom of individuals. Moreover, Orwell indicates the psychological manipulation by the execution of color and visual imagery, skull. This allows Orwell to exhibit the dull state of the individuals as the colors of the skull, gray, cracked, institute the loss of physical and mental control. It enables Orwell to comment on the controlling power of Adolf Hitler as well as his own experience with the Burmese police over the people. The few cubic centimeters inside your skull. Orwell employs a metaphor to compare being unconsciously mind-controlled to paint a much broader picture of the levels of physical and mental deception. Hence, Orwell's construction of 1984 explores the complex ideas of the misuse of control and power and psychological manipulation, which allow readers to form their own opinions and perceptions while also relating individual experiences to the text. Novelists compose illustrious segments of writings from ingenuity discovered from aspects of other texts, which explore similar concepts that form into a diverging outlook based on personal human experiences. Morris Glitzman's outstanding novel Once reimagines the disparate issues of unconscious psychological manipulation beacon through the pessimistic operations of the Nazi and the oppression of freedom. Glitzman institutes the element of mindful deception through the protagonist Felix. And Adolf Hitler, I whisper. Father Ludwik says Adolf Hitler keeps safe too, as it mocks the veracity of the truth, portraying Adolf Hitler to be viewed as a protector. Furthermore, Glitzman foreshadows the Machiavellian personality of the antagonist through the contradictory statement, and Adolf Hitler keeps us safe too. Moreover, the rhetorical question, and Adolf Hitler, reveals suspicion and a need for assurance in knowing if Hitler is a safeguard or not. Accordingly, Glitzman illustrates the political regime that prevailed in his time, signaling the fascist autonomy present and allows for an insight to the condition of his surroundings and environment. In addition, Hitler keeps us safe indicates irony as it contradicts the duality of Hitler protecting and destroying in the political sense that overall during World War II. In consequence, Glitzman's assembling of wants transverses the values and perceptions about the risk of psychological manipulation on a personal level based on an individual's experience. Writers create artistic materials to investigate the complexities of a text and allow for a deepened understanding of collective experiences by mirroring their own interactions and emotions with others. George Orwell's iconic dystopian novel 1984 surfaces around the prolonged tyrannical environment which can condition individuals into unconsciously accepting it to be the norm through the physical and psychological control promoted by the party. Orwell expresses, "You had to live, did live, from habit that became instinct, in assumption that every sound you made was overheard, and except in the darkness, every movement scrutinized." This abstract orthodoxy conveys the forced conditioning of the aspects of human lives and is reflected through the totalitarian regimes experienced during his time of enduring a Nazi Germany and Stalinist Russia. In addition, Orwell implements the repetition device epistrophe to highlight "had to live, did live," as being forced to follow the absurd doctrines of the party, therefore Winston having his sense of individuality being stripped away from him. Moreover, Orwell comments on the hegemonic ideology about the dominating leadership tactics of the government. Every sound you made was overheard, every movement scrutinized. The implementation of the repetition device antenaclasis is to emphasize the comparison of not only being overheard, but also being observed closely and judged upon every action an individual engages in. The frequent pauses in sentences is Orwell's utilization of syntax variation, which is to accentuate the predominance of the party. Thus, Orwell's establishment of 1984 investigates the rise of obstructive political power by incorporating human qualities and emotions in order to portray these collective human experiences. Authors tend to deepen their investigation on human qualities and emotions for a heightened understanding of shared human experiences. In Morris Glitzman's award-winning novel Once, the suppression of freedom brings about feelings of fear and despair which contribute to the build-up of human experiences portrayed through the atrocious mannerisms of the German Nazis. Glitzman utilizes the quote, "I give a careless shrug so Dodie won't see how nervous I am about the officials and how much I'm desperately hoping Mother Minka remembers the story we agreed on about my parents, about how they were killed in a farming accident, tragically." Furthermore, Glitzman implements syntax variation to portray the expression of doubtful emotions about how they were killed in a farming accident, tragically. In this way, Glitzman successfully comments on the unknowingness of the protagonist, Felix, and whether his story would be believable enough for him to survive the terrorizing of the German Nazis. In addition to this, Glitzman employs first person, we, in the sense that the persona, Felix, is conspiring with a lady known as Mother Minka. It serves as an opening for the reader to feel a part of the shared experience between Felix and Mother Minka. Therefore, Glitzman's putting together of Once offers an insight on the oppression of freedom as well as the mental state of individuals going through such conditions. Folks, I'd like to say that's all we had planned for today. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. Please be sure to check out previous episodes if ever in doubt or in need of any help. Make sure to always keep your head high and hope for the best. I'll see you all in next week's video. Goodbye, everyone.